There we go. So welcome back to episode I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
who
been
knows?
like half a year since we've done it.
Yeah.
Welcome back to whatever episode this is, Marky.
Episode 1 of the new podcast.
Of the new podcast. We still haven't come up with the new name,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
maybe
that'll come in the next episode.
that'll come in the next episode. Marky, suggest something in the comments down below. Help the
Yeah.
algorithm, and hopefully we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
Because we did no work for it over the past few months.
No, we forgot
Really?
we even had it. Yeah.
What stopped it?
What did stop it?
I have a theory. I think I broke my arm.
Oh, right.
And
right.
then didn't want to do it while my arm was broken because it's just tough to like really get stuff together and put effort into something
Yeah.
while your arm is broken.
Yeah, and then I think at some point stuff got moved into that room. And it
Oh
wasn't,
yeah, like it just wasn't
Yeah.
the right. Yeah.
we would have to like set it all up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm already realizing that half the time I'm just facing this way and I'm not
Yeah.
facing towards the mic whatsoever.
Right.
But
This is a new setup, so we're figuring out
we're
how
going
to
to figure
get
out how to
things
get it to work. Maybe
Yeah.
we should have on little headsets with microphones on it.
So,
just in the
like-
earliest podcast.
Or like sports broadcast or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
No.
That would be the worst. But
Yeah.
we are in a new studio, you could say. We should really figure out
Studio.
what to do about that right-hand closet.
Yeah.
Because that's not great looking, but
Yeah, the room isn't quite big enough.
yeah, it's
The
just
studio is a big
ever so small. This is the same room I record my YouTube videos in.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't know what to do about it. I thought about
knows?
moving everything over there to that wall, but that wouldn't look right either and wouldn't really help with the space.
Yeah, and the windows would be...
Yeah.
It would be great. Yeah.
Now,
It's a work in progress.
yeah.
So.
Now, what I'm curious about, Louis, or should I say Lou Maglio, is
Yeah.
what happened to your YouTube channel?
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like the last time we were doing the podcast, I was saying that I was about to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then I started it and then ended it before the next
Did
one.
you end it officially?
Not end it, but I haven't made any videos in like a month or two.
And why did you stop?
So to give some background on it, Robert does a YouTube channel, and I figured I should give it a shot and try to make one that's sort of related to the things I'm interested in. So I was trying to make one that was essentially trying to like explain scientific topics, or like sort of going through new scientific papers that are about like biotechnology or like environmental things or like cool new type of technology stuff, and just giving like a sort of simplified explanation of it and explaining some of the theory and stuff behind it. But I realized that it's like it wasn't fun enough to make them, and it ended up being too much work. Because like I don't know, like if in theory I had a big channel and I was doing it, I would get enough like reinforcement from it, and I would get enough like engagement, and it would be fun. But just making those in like a vacuum just ends up being kind of boring. You know, because I'm making it like it didn't feel like I was making it for anyone. It just felt like I was just making these videos and then not getting much out of it.
Is there anything that you could have done so that you weren't just so that even if no one was watching, they would have still been fun to do at least? Maybe not the actual like editing and uploading, but the recording of and learning for the video. Like, could it have been done better than what you were doing?
I think so. Like, I think in theory, like I enjoy reading about like scientific things and like learning about new stuff, but I think a lot of the issue is that when you're making a YouTube video, you really have to like make it for the audience. Because if I just made it for myself, it was just like almost just like reading something and then immediately talking about how I felt about it. Like it'd be missing so much explanation and so much context that like it's almost like you have to enjoy making, like turning it into something presentable instead of keeping it as the kind of like complex thing that only makes sense in your own head, you know?
I agree. So you're saying that you would be fine, or that you enjoyed the learning part of making the video and you liked going on Reddit and finding those interesting science things, or was even that not fun?
I prefer like looking like Wikipedia and that sort of science.
Is that how you were doing it for the videos?
No, I was doing like the Reddit, like the like the news article sort of science.
So is there something that you could have done that you would have enjoyed every aspect of except maybe the recording and just like, you know, because that's only like 15 minutes of recording technically, like.
Yeah, what's that? It's the recording, but also like the script writing and like the
the script writing.
It's like the issue of like when you're reading it, you're not really reading it for yourself. You're reading it for the purpose of then putting it into a video.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, is there anything that you would do or that you do that wouldn't just be for a YouTube video? Like, what are you currently doing that you could then turn into a YouTube video.
Right. It's hard to say. You sort of get into the question of like, this is sort of like a philosophical argument, or like a paradox type of thing, where it's like, is it possible to do something and then use it for a different mean than you intended to use it initially, if at the start that you know like that's what you're going to do with it?
Well,
Does that make any sense?
No, yeah.
That would have been a confusing way to say it. Like say, the example in the class I took like some philosophy class a few years ago, is that you have, this person tells you you have to take this poison at midnight. It's not going to kill you, whatever, it's just going to make you sick or whatever. And they'll give you $100 right now if you intend to take it later. So the paradox is that, is it possible to intend to take it later, get the reward, and then not actually take it in the future? And it's sort of the question of like, can you separate, like, can you change your intent? Can you like lie about what you intend to do? And the issue with the researching for the YouTube video is that like, from the start, you're intending to make it into a video. So like, can you do it without that intention and then later change your intention into doing it?
Yeah. I think what would really help in that situation is if other external things happened that would then change your intent. Like if you intended to take the poison, honest to God, and then an earthquake hit and you had to get to the shelter and couldn't reach the poison or whatever it is. Yeah. I think the external stuff really helps. But for the YouTube video, I'm not necessarily asking, is there anything that you could start doing to make YouTube videos about? But is there anything, like I've often thought, what it would be so easy just to make a reaction channel on YouTube and react to whatever I normally watch.
Right, because everybody's reacting.
Yeah, because I'm already watching YouTube videos, and I may as well just turn on the camera and think out loud while I'm watching the videos, and that would be so easy.
Right.
I haven't done it just because I haven't.
Right.
Or playing video games. If I'm gaming, I may as well just turn on the stream.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah, that's a really easy one.
But I think the issue is that like, the question is, why are you playing the video games? And it's like, are you playing it just to like relax and not really focus on anything external and just like play this game and enjoy the in-game rewards and stuff?
Yeah.
And then once you turn it into like a YouTube video or like a Twitch stream or something, then it becomes like, it changes how you view it.
I agree.
Yeah.
It would take away a lot of the relaxation. And that's the main reason probably why I haven't done that for either of those things. It would be a lot less fun. Yeah.
But the thing is like, that's only true when there's no engagement, because it's like the Twitch streamers, like I'm sure they're playing games that they probably wouldn't be playing if they didn't have the people like in the chat talking to them.
Oh yeah.
So it makes it more fun once you get big, but once you like at the start of the channel, it makes it less fun.
That's definitely true. Yeah, I think it would be kind of like almost turning every single player game into a multiplayer game where people are saying, "Oh, go check around the corner. I saw something cool over there."
Right.
Yeah, that would be really fun. I think for that kind of stuff, like the gaming and watching YouTube, maybe monetizing it by recording yourself isn't the best way, because those really are purely relaxation activities. But if there's something like rock climbing that you do, and you wouldn't necessarily do the rock climbing any different, maybe you would do like, you would add on like a minute spiel before you do the climb, whatever route you're doing. And you could just say, now I'm about to do this route. It wouldn't change how you do the route, because you wouldn't be talking to them while you're doing it. You're actually just doing your best. And not like the gaming where it's like you're expected to talk while you game. And, there's other stuff like that you could potentially, if you just recorded yourself doing it, that wouldn't change it that much.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think the issue still is that like, there's actually a thought I had, because I've been doing the rock climbing for like a year or so. And sort of just the idea that like, when you're trying to like climb a certain route or whatever, it's less fun if you like climb it with the intent of like, I have to climb this or else I won't be able to, I'm not going to let myself move on to the next one. Or like, if I don't climb this, I'll be sad because I'm not good enough to climb this particular one. And it's like, you sort of like lose that after a while of climbing, because you gradually like realize like you've climbed so many different ones. This one is just a little bit harder or whatever. And you can just enjoy it even if you don't finish the route. But the issue is that when you start presenting it to people, you sort of get that inkling in your head where it's like, man, I have to finish this route, otherwise I'll look bad. Or like, people won't like the video as much because I didn't finish it, or like I didn't do as good of a job.
I think.
And it's like, it just takes the fun out of it, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely could depend on how you structure the videos in the beginning.
Mhm.
If it's like you try to
Yeah.
make it seem like tutorial on how to be a good rock climber versus
Mhm.
rock climb with me, my day rock climbing, and you
Yeah.
just go ahead and do it, and like a lot of like
Mhm.
an almost like a lazy rock climbing vlog, and you just
Right.
go around and there's a lot of videos where people climb up
Mhm.
something and then get
I
halfway
see.
down and
See, like,
yeah.
more like unedited and more just
Yeah,
like,
just raw, like,
yeah.
enjoy watching me rock climb and I'll
Yeah.
say something to the camera. Oh, that one didn't go too well.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
think that could really work.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better, actually.
Yeah.
I guess maybe more as like a stream than a YouTube video.
Exactly. Yeah. More
Yeah.
like a stream than like a TikTok format. Like,
Right.
watch me do this crazy rock
Yeah.
climb. And then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the big issue is like you have to make it, like if you try to make a YouTube video, it feels like there's a pressure to make it more condensed and more like
Yeah.
some big achievement.
I agree.
But yeah,
I think I do
that's
that
reasonable.
probably too much with my videos where it's like
Mhm.
there's a point that I'm trying to get across.
Mhm.
And for anyone who's unaware, my videos are finance stuff, stock market stuff. So if there's a point that I'm trying to get across, I think I focus too much on doing that, not just like
Mhm.
chatting and having fun and making a joke. I take it maybe a little too seriously.
Yeah, like
and I
too much
think,
business.
yeah, like this is
Mhm.
just like a conversation. We have no
Right.
agenda. Like we didn't start
Right.
this with any idea what we would be talking about.
Yeah, but also if you think about it, like if you did that channel and we did this for like 10 years
Yeah.
and it slowly grows, like which one of people are going to care more about? Are they going to care about like this guy who gives good finance information, or are they going to care about like this guy who they become friends with because they see the sort of conversations that he has?
Yeah.
You know?
I think this
Yeah.
is the kind of thing because there
Yeah.
are a bunch of finance YouTubers that I watch
Mhm.
or used to watch, and eventually I learned whatever information I was going to learn because they would be posting educational videos.
Mhm.
And now it's just kind of repetitive, right? Once you get the
Yeah.
point, you get the point.
Mhm.
But I will watch their podcasts
Yeah.
and listen to them just have conversations just because now I'm like, oh, they're interesting
Right.
people. Like they do share like some businessy secrets in the podcast and like
Mhm.
it's relevant and interesting to hear the cool
Yeah.
stories that people have with how they got rich and that kind of stuff
Mhm.
because that's mostly what it's about.
Mhm.
But that is the kind of stuff. I think it's like a funnel, right? You have a main channel that has something informational or really entertaining that lures in a bunch of clicks and gets people watching, and then you funnel it into fewer people end up sticking with you, but there are people who want to stick with you for you.
Right.
And then those are the people who really stick around long term.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, the weird thing about like the YouTube and the TikTok type of stuff gets people's attention better, but is almost like designed to lose their attention. And it's like the podcasts and stuff like that are harder to get your attention, but once you have it, it's more genuine and like higher quality.
You really see it with the
Yeah.
TikToks, like the difference between a TikTok account and a YouTube account.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're making YouTube videos, there are people who will stick with you even if they're kind of informational and boring almost. But a TikTok, it's like someone could post a TikTok and get 8 million views, and then the next one gets 3,000 views just because
Right.
like the shorter it is, the less people are invested,
Right.
and it is interesting.
Like the
to
less
see
time
that.
you have to actually
Yeah.
like convey
Yeah.
like any like nuance about who you are.
Yeah. That's why like any podcast I think is really good just because, 30 minutes of a conversation, like that's going
29
to
minutes.
Yeah, 29 minutes that's going to show people something. So
Yeah.
Marky's going to
Yeah.
love us by the end.
Yeah. And it's also like not having like a agenda. Like we don't have like a script.
Yeah.
Whereas like the script almost like prevents you from putting too much like off the cuff like creative remarks or like you can't like it kind of restrains the structure of it.
The script does.
Like-
I'm way too stressed about the script. Not I don't even make a script. I don't make a script when
Yeah.
I do the YouTube videos, but there is like a general script of like I'm supposed to be talking about this thing, and it really puts the conversation in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's sort of what I was doing with mine. I'm just not having like a script, and just having like a Cliff Notes type of thing.
Yeah.
That's not probably that word, but like an outline. But the issue became I wouldn't like do enough research about the science like topic or whatever, and it was just like I would just kind of talk slowly and be like, so this part was about this, and then like yeah.
I would watch some of your videos. Yeah. That is something that's definitely something
Yeah.
that happens.
But
And
yeah, that's the issue with like
it really helps when if you're going to do that kind of a thing that you do it with something that you have like a lot of background knowledge on. Like
Right.
the science is like it's so general that maybe you know a ton about chemistry, But if something was about growing plants on the moon, then maybe you know like one or two of the chemical facts, but you don't know about like and the rockets that take them there. It's like you get
Yeah.
lost and you only
It's
have the few facts that you've read about specific parts.
yeah. That was the weird thing with like my channel had like I'd maybe get like 10 or 20 views per video, but they're just like one. Or it was like there were a couple ones, but like the main one that was about like the plastics or whatever. It was like my second or third video, and it got like 100 views.
Yeah, yeah. What happened? Where did that end up going? Like, did that
I think
cap
it
out?
stopped going up. It was like going like 120.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was weird because it was like it didn't seem like one of my better videos, but it's because it was about something that I knew a lot about.
Yeah.
I think just like without realizing it, I just gave like a way better explanation.
I'll tell you, that's not what happened.
It's not what happened. Yeah.
That video
The thumbnail.
had and yeah, the thumbnail had an arrow and it
Yeah.
said something like 48 hours and then had an arrow pointing to like a plastic
Designed
bottle.
by AI, it
Yeah,
said, yeah.
something it was something really good. And
Yeah.
that is what made it work. That's what makes a
Yeah.
video work a little bit like that. If it was like a really if it was a very attractive video to continue watching, then it would have kept getting like a lot of watch time. And if it was initially like getting enough clicks, I think YouTube would have kept pushing it. If it was
Oh.
interesting to a wide enough audience. And so when a video gets a lot of clicks, they're like, oh, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's someone who will watch this for a long time. They search for maybe 100 so people or a couple hundred people, and some of them click on it. And if no one watches it enough, then like far enough in, then they don't keep showing it. But
I see. So it seems like it got
I think it had a really good thumbnail.
like it got the clicks, but not the watch time.
Not the watch time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's
think.
probably a better explanation.
Yeah, I think.
Because I really didn't think it was that much better of a video.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't seem
There are definitely
Yeah.
some videos that I post like that just end up going a lot further because not necessarily that it's a much better thumbnail, but because it's a much more interesting topic, maybe.
Yeah.
And more people are interested in that topic, and so there's just a naturally bigger audience, even if I captured the same percentage of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
that might have been
interesting.
going on too if more people are interested in plastics.
Maybe,
Then,
yeah.
yeah.
It's possible, yeah.
Could
It,
be.
it sounds more like the people complain about the microplastics
Yeah.
stuff.
But also the thumbnail was really good. Like
Yeah.
with the little arrow. I think
Yeah.
that arrow really helped out.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I think I tried to do that again in a video. It didn't do that
I
much.
saw you did another something like that
Here it
maybe.
was, yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
I made like 10 videos.
Yeah. But do you think you're 100% done with that channel? Are you ever going back to it?
Okay, so I would say I'm 90% done, or like 90% sure that I'm done with like the science article papers or the science article videos.
Yeah.
Because that just wasn't like. I will get to. I just don't enjoy that too much. Like it seems a little random. But what were you gonna say?
What if instead of making videos about it, you did just stream for like maybe 4-ish hours, you doing research on that stuff, and that could appeal to a bigger audience. Where they're like, "How does this guy research? Like, what does he do?" It would almost teach people how to study a little bit, like science, like vaguely, like not for school or something like
What
that.
do you mean by research?
Like when you would be doing the research for the videos, you'd go to Reddit, like find
yeah.
something, you maybe look more into it some other way. What if you just,
Yeah.
there was no pressure to necessarily be talking to the camera and putting it on a show,
Yeah,
but if you just tried just live streaming it?
that's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. Whatever. There's a podcast, so it's worth telling weird stories.
Yeah.
But I think it was like sophomore year or something, maybe junior year, and my mom was telling me to get a job, and so I thought to do the tutoring because my brother had done like math tutoring or something, and so I signed up for the tutoring thing, and actually I think I was like late. What was I? I was almost late to the interview, and I got there like right as it was starting or something, and in the interview they were asking me like stuff like how would you teach students to work on things, and like what's the most important thing to you when you're studying for a test. And I just gave like what in retrospect are just worse answers of like I think I said like your mindset right before the test is the most important, and like like it's not too important to like memorize things. It's more just like to get the general idea, which I think are like really bad advice
Yeah.
for most people. But I think
that's true.
like it's true, but it's just like I think I have a very like kind of like not counterintuitive atypical way of doing things and like learning, and I think it's just almost like a bad example. Like I would be a bad tutor for that sort of thing.
Yeah, it
Of
would
just like people would see me doing it and just not be able to follow it probably.
it would be like putting a square block in a round hole or something like that. Like it might be a
Yeah.
good way for you, but other people wouldn't
Yeah,
take to it pretty well. Yeah.
yeah.
I could see that being
Or
the
like
case.
just like teaching someone like how to read a book without teaching them English or something. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But,
No, I get what you're saying.
yeah.
And I honestly think that would be better if that's what we focused on in school, like just getting the
Mhm.
general ideas, learning how to think. Instead of
Yeah.
they just focus so much on memorizing the facts.
Yeah, no, like schools are terrible. Like I think
Yeah.
I almost like have done better in school because I didn't follow how they taught us and like
Yeah.
learn my own ways of thinking.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of the people in probably 20-ish years
Mhm.
won't be learning too much from school. I think that the internet's
yeah.
really just getting started.
Mhm.
The first 20 years we just went through, like, it basically started. Didn't it start in, like, the 1990s? Was that maybe the
Oh, in
beginning of.
school?
Or, no, the internet.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
But the
I have no
internet
idea.
wasn't. It became like way more popular. Like that's when the
Right.
.com bubble happened at the end of that
The 90s, yeah.
decade.
Mhm.
And I feel like maybe it existed, but it really wasn't that prevalent. Like it really
Yeah.
only started being prevalent
Right.
when we were born.
Yeah.
And our parents would use like MapQuest
Right.
to find stuff.
And especially
and
now
that-
with phones.
yeah,
Like,
with the phones.
I feel like the
it's become
phones really
huge.
brought it to like the mainstream.
But I think like this was the first 20 years of like experimenting and stuff, and YouTube
Yeah.
ended up being a really good way to learn stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Khan Academy.
Right.
There's
right.
all kinds of stuff online where you can learn way
Mhm.
better. And now they just did college over Zoom for the past 2
right.
years.
And,
And
it was
I
just
think-
like blatantly.
I,
just
yeah, I
a
think
video,
the schools are going away. I think we're going
Yeah.
to do it mostly online.
It's really hard to say because it's like if the schools were like designed by someone who really wanted to educate everyone, then it would be good. But it's like it's almost like the schools are just like not really under anyone's control, and they're just like they were just put in place in like the 60s or 40s or 20, I don't know, but they were just put in place, and they just sort of like have continued and like are losing relevance gradually, but haven't gotten like no one's going to get rid of it because no one's really in control of it, you know?
Yeah. I think it could almost be something that people get rid of for themselves in
Yeah.
a similar way to how we've already gotten rid of like the big media outlets. Like nobody uses the news or even like the old television stations. Nobody really watches TV
Sure.
channels. And it's because now there's this thing, there's an algorithm that shows you the best way to be entertained.
Right.
And in a similar way, we might make a version of that for education. And people realize, you know, these media outlets, who cares, or these colleges, who cares about going to the colleges because I'm just going
Yeah.
to waste a lot of time like hearing stuff that I don't want, watching ads and channels and TV shows that I don't
Right.
want. They might end up doing the TikTok version of education and actually get educated in the most effective way.
Yeah.
Just like they can get entertained in the most effective way with TikTok.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, that could
yeah,
be good.
I think that makes sense for college. I think for the earlier schools, I don't think it works because it's too like it's almost like a legal thing of like,
You need to socialize a little bit.
oh yeah, you need to socialize, but also it's just like, isn't it like you legally have to go to school
Yeah.
or have like homeschooling
Well,
licenses or something?
yeah,
Like,
that is, yeah.
I don't know how it
That-
works,
no,
but,
that's true. That's true.
yeah. But
Well,
for the college, it makes sense.
for the schools, I mean, they did those schools virtually too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could, like, as long as someone gets a license and says, you know, this is my school, and they teach
Oh,
you whatever
yeah.
way they want
Like
online.
online, yeah.
And it's going
Yeah,
to
That's possible.
democratize it so that people with better ideas about how to teach can very easily set up a school. All they need to get is a
Yeah.
license. They don't need to buy a huge building and get a bunch of investors or get
Right.
certified, you know, this building's
Yeah.
safe. And all
I'm
that.
forgetting to think of like schools could only have like some number, like 2,000 people or something,
Yeah.
or 2,000 students.
Yeah.
But like a YouTube or like a Khan Academy channel can have like
Yeah.
millions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable.
It seems like it would be a lot cheaper, like in that
Yeah.
sense, because you could have a couple of teachers and there's not some teacher to student ratio.
right.
It really
It's
wouldn't
a
be
million to one.
Yeah,
student,
yeah. It really wouldn't be good for the kids who are really young to
No.
not get out of the house
Because that's not really like you're not really teaching them that much. I guess you're teaching them like some.
in virtual reality.
Yeah.
I mean, they would suck at like
Yeah.
throwing a ball, I guess. They wouldn't be very
Yeah,
strong
yeah.
if they just spent all day in virtual reality.
But if all the adults are in virtual reality too, then you don't need it.
Yeah.
So, no, yeah, you don't need any real life skills.
That would
yeah.
be cool. It's kind of like the Matrix at that
Yeah,
point. But
like probably the future. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean that is like that's probably where it's going. Like
Yeah, most likely.
yeah, we'll probably get some technology that, you know, keeps your heart pumping and like keeps you relatively healthy
Yeah.
so that you're not getting diseases while you're in stagnation.
Right. Yeah, just like
But-
sitting in a chair.
Yeah, but it really seems like that's probably the
Yeah.
direction.
That's the issue with a lot of these a lot of our ideas about like how is school going to evolve? How is it going to change with like the internet? It's like in reality it's going to be like 5 years and then we'll just be in VR and it's going
Yeah.
to be completely different. And,
Yeah.
like, Like, who knows? But it's fun to imagine, like, if things stayed like similar to how they are now, what would happen? Because in reality, it's like things are changing so fast that we probably can't really
Yeah.
imagine it. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of our conversations and probably a lot of reality always ends up in the same place, no matter what we're talking about. It oftentimes, and it just did, ends up in, well, we'll be in VR and they'll make it really good there.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
like
much.
how a lot of the things end. It always goes back to that, and it makes a
usually
lot
is
of
the answer,
sense.
yeah.
And it
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense because that is a world almost where you're a god and you can do whatever you need and affect the seemingly physical things and
Yeah.
never have shortages of whatever just because it's the same resource, just electricity that you pump into
Right.
the system and then you have whatever
Yeah.
you want.
But it seems very strange because like, I think we're just so used to living in a world where it's like, you can get, like, the only way to get money is to have someone who has money give it to you. But in VR, it's just like, if everything is arbitrary, like I'm guessing it will be made by like Facebook or something,
Yeah.
and it won't be really arbitrary. But it's like, if most materials and like objects are like NFTs or whatever, where it's like
Yeah.
the NFT image isn't something special; it's just like the address to it. If like everything is arbitrary and artificial, it's like, it seems like we'll kind of like I don't know, like it would just be anarchy.
I think it might be anarchy. We're going to need, for a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people will need some kind of artificial constraints in terms of like what they can get and do.
Right.
Because otherwise it does, at least in my experience, get really boring. And I know that because I used to play Minecraft.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to play Minecraft survival mode and go down and get the iron and like build something with it and then find diamonds eventually, and they were really rare. And then I remember this was like one of my first playthroughs. As soon as I discovered creative mode, it really killed off a lot of the fun because then I could just go in and toss myself a ton of diamonds and it all just lost its meaning. Like it just stopped being fun. I wasn't too into the building.
Yeah.
Just purely for building. I wanted to get the stuff and like have fun. And not everyone is like that. A lot of people do, just like going into the creative and building, or like Marky, like just hello,
viewer.
yeah. The only person who's going to get this far into it is just goes in and plays survival a bit, and then maybe gives himself some diamonds and some netherite if he happens to stumble upon that in the creative menu. Then
Yeah, you just like do it creatively.
yeah, and it's like, but it's still fun because like it's not completely just like spamming resources, but it's still you just get yourself what you need to
like there's no difficulty
to do the fun activities.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it almost seems like if VR is really like customizable, and you can just go to different like virtual worlds or like virtual like almost like universes where it's like in some of them you have money, and some of them you have to work to do things, but then some of them you just have everything you need. It's like, it's a question of like, will everyone gravitate to the ones that are kind of like this world, or will some people go to like the creative mode version and some will go to like the survival mode? It's like, it's kind of hard to say like what do people really want out of the world,
I think if I were going to make mine, I would go to one where there were a lot of constraints, like not too much resource availability. There's a lot of comfort, but you have to work for it. And I would wipe my memory so I didn't know I was in that, and I would start a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But it makes me think like, this is a cool idea of like, say you are in VR coming into this world, and you're one of the people who like this world, like the system of it. But say there's like Marky or something, or like people like him who just don't really like the way things are set up and don't really fit in. And it's like, it kind of sucks. Like this world kind of sucks for him, or no, it doesn't suck for him. But like, in theory, and maybe it sucks for you, Marky. I don't know. You seem pretty happy.
I think Marky enjoys it a lot.
Yeah, I say like in theory, maybe it sucks for some people, but once we get the VR, those people leave and like go to like what they prefer of the world. And then people like Robert just like stay, and like it almost like focuses down into just like, you keep making more VR. Like say like in the VR, we invent a new VR or something, and it just like sort of like funnels it down into just a few people who are just really hardworking or something.
Segments the people. Yeah, because I would still go into the VR because it would be nice to be able to do all of this without actually having the real threat of death and like a permanent end. and to just be able to restart, like a little bit of cheating, like the quick save stuff.
Right. But you don't realize it, so it's still fun.
Yeah. I mean, even when I realize it, like
sure.
in Skyrim or something, I'll still save, and like it's still fun to do it. It would be more fun not to even know, though. It really would.
Yeah.
Which is the scary part about this.
Right.
This is almost exactly how I would design it. So.
Yeah. It's weird though, because it's like Did Markey.
Yeah. Well, we can keep that. It's still on the mic.
All
So
right.
finish this thought, and then we'll end it.
Did Markey, in his like real world self, put himself into VR, and then end up in a different world than he expected, or is this what he intended for?
I think I made Marky as a challenge to myself.
Ooh, yeah.
See if I could get Marky to live long enough to get into the VR world that he wants.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe Markey is just a different portion of your consciousness
Yes.
that you're testing.
Yes. That could be it. All right. Well, you're doing a good job, Marky. I like what you've got going on.
Yes.
And there will be more of these podcast episodes for you to listen to on the ride.
This part is just for you, Mark.
And from work. Yeah, there's without the video, good. But that's it. That was over 30 minutes. So that's pretty good.
Good.
All right. Well, we'll see you in the next one, Marky. And there must be some other people.
Rushi? No. Not anymore.
But there are more than one views on these videos.
Nice.
And I watch one, I click it at least just to make sure everything worked. So
Jared clicks it 100 times.
Yeah, and there's more than 5 views on these.
Yeah.
So there's other people watching. Thank you.
Thank you, viewers.
Yeah. We'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.